Average Dude has something to say about...
Okay, everybody, welcome back. I know it has been a long time since my last upload. I needed to take a break, and it makes perfect sense for me to come back and upload this particular video because I dealt with domestic violence and the double standards of how males tend to come under the radar more than females do. The last video I did was on Hope Solo. I'll deal with her yet again, but Jodi Arias is in court, and she is trying to avoid for the final time the death penalty. She has been convicted of first-degree murder. She killed her ex-boyfriend. She has been playing the victim card the whole time. She's doing it now. And what happened was he tried to move on with his life. She went on a joyride, on a car ride, because she had to go from one state to the next state. He was a handful of states away from her. She had to go to him. She went from her home in one state to his home in another, and the brutality of that murder was so unbelievably intense. The amount of stab wounds, the slitting of the throat, and then the bullet head, it was so excessive that even in the Western world we were like, holy shit. It was so excessive. And keep in mind that this came after the Casey Anthony, the results of the Casey Anthony trial, and I'll get back to that one. But I want to focus on something. We've been dealing with domestic violence, and we've been hearing about the men and how bad they are. And the moment that Hope Solo hit the scene, it's a double. Why aren't we talking about this? And did you notice how we just simply stopped talking about domestic violence and we moved on as a world? This is how uncomfortable we are dealing with very bad, violent females. We would much rather avoid the whole situation entirely, and that is so bad for society, because when you are that childish that you cannot acknowledge that there are very bad, evil females out there, if you walk away from the entire discussion of the bad ones, you have now given a free pass to the evil, wicked, horrible men too, along with the wicked, horrible, evil females. That is real. That is bad for victims everywhere. We need to focus on behaviors of all across the board. Gender, race should not be an issue. We should be looking at the behaviors and what these people do. And you know what? She tried to get off. She was on camera being recorded during the entire trial, and she knew full well that she was being recorded. She was always dolling herself up. Look at the money that has gone into her defense, Jodi Arias, and her primping herself up. Have you noticed how the mugshots of the women that tend to get thrown on the news for the ugliest, horrible things of killing their kids and killing their husbands and this and that, my God, they usually look pretty ugly or not very well kept. They don't look groomed. Jodi Arias has always been well groomed. And she said on camera several times, "They won't put me to death. They don't kill the pretty ones." And okay, this has been made out to be a gender issue, male versus female, feminism versus men's rights movement, and it's not. This is something even worse. And this is why I think that feminism and men's rights and just basically everyone in society should band together, because this is a real big, bad problem. We go out of our way to defend based on looks, based on good looks. The beautiful people get away with a lot. Links down below. At the same time that this is going on, there's another woman in the news that she was going to be put to death, and it was delayed because of bad weather, but nobody's feeling sorry for that woman. And you want to know why? Well, first of all, she's a murderer, and second of all, she is physically not pretty at all. She's fat and she's ugly. Physically, in appearances, who gives a whoop? But nobody cares. Okay, feminists, men's, whoever you are, male, female, black, white, whatever, men's rights, feminism, whatever angle that you go for, take a good long look at the women on death row, or the women that have pictures of the women that have actually been put to death. They don't look very good, do they? Now, take a look at those that got away from facing the death penalty. You see the difference. You really see the difference. The pretty ones. Casey Anthony was that cute big guy, turning on the tears, oh woe is me, and she got away with killing her kid. And I'll tell you what, women, more so than men, were so upset over the results of that particular verdict in that trial, the Casey Anthony trial. They were so disgusted that a mother, because there's a lot of mothers out there, were so disgusted that this little twerp woman could be given the ability to bring this wonderful gift of life into the world, and then turn on the tears and get away with it, and then I'm gonna go party and woo-hoo-hoo, yeah, and drink, and party, and screw, and pop out a bunch of other kids. Women were so furious with her, not just the men. The Casey Anthony trial was a page-turner because it went too far. Women were not okay with this. Women were not okay with a bad one getting away with it. And that is the only reason that I'm convinced that Casey Anthony was found guilty, because it came right after the Casey Anthony trial, and it was too much. God knows their defense is tried. Now, let's focus on the defense, because they are really laying it on thick with the looks. Look at how dolled up she is. And they are so unbelievably desperate that her and her defense attorney are color coordinated. People are talking about that on Twitter and social media. Oh my God. They're wearing white. Casey Anthony, Jodi Arias is wearing white. It's the oldest trick in the book. Okay, police, when they try to grill someone, they'll put them in a white room, and the police will be wearing, white and light colors, because they want to look like the angels in heaven, and confess, you're slime, you're evil, you're horrible, okay? So, basically, it's a stupid, ridiculously transparent, see-through tactic, but if you want to look like you are innocent, you wear the color white. That's what she's doing now. She's that desperate to avoid punishment. And now we have found out, because the crap is truly hitting the fan, Jodi Arias has assaulted her own mother multiple times. When she was a teen, and they're trying to say, no, it's because of the bad relationship, and it's always because of the murder victim, it's because of her ex-boyfriend. This poor guy's dead, and they're still trying to lay it on the guy. She attacked mommy when she was a teenager, long before this stuff, long before that relationship. She's a psychopath. She's like Ted, but she's the female version of Ted Bundy. Got into that court case, thought she was smarter than the system, thought it was funny, didn't think that she could possibly be punished, and only now that she is facing life in prison or the death penalty, now she's taken, that smile is largely off her face. She's trying to go, I'm a victim, and yeah, it's coming out. She has attacked her mom. And the defense is trying to throw it back on her mom. And this is what throws me off. Because when it comes to domestic violence in the Western world, we feel more comfortable blaming the father. They're starting to blame the mom. Like Jodi's, we need to spare her the death penalty because mommy abused her. This family has some horrendous, dirty laundry. It wouldn't surprise me at all if mommy did beat her. But I'll tell you what, I was beaten left and right for years. When you see your parent and my mom like grabbing kitchen utensils that nobody should ever grab and be angry and shake when you're in the kitchen and you're wondering, as a kid, you wonder if you're going to live or die. I'll tell you what, Jodi Arias is not innocent. This isn't a fantasy world that she's throwing herself into. She knew full well that she was going to kill this poor guy. She tried covering it up. She did not do a good enough job. There was too much evidence left. She is doing everything to avoid the death penalty. And I am going to be watching this case very closely because I am concerned that she is going to avoid the death penalty. And here's why you never, ever take the death penalty off. They're considering the possibility of her being given parole in 25 years. Okay, even above and beyond that, there's always clemency to worry about. Some ridiculous jerk politician could come around, and let's face it, these politicians tend to be men, and, oh, look at how, oh, she's pretty, oh, no, big eyes, give her clemency. Females, even more so than males, know full well that the pretty ones get away with it, and that needs to stop.